I'm here with Transam 617, and we're here on Hydra, and we're going to show you how the Banshee works so you can more effectively control how it's behaving. In this video, I've turned the sync kills off just for ease of recording it. I've also made its Nova Blast have a higher cooldown, just a little bit. And I also made it so that it takes less damage to breach it, just to show you how breaching works. So the Banshee has two modes, charged and not charged, which we'll also call normal. So in this base mode, your best bet at killing her is to use weapons, and this is because she can block powers that are coming into her by putting up her hand. This power has a 4-second cooldown, but it also has a 4-second effect. Putting those together, she can essentially just spam this power over and over again, so you won't be able to actually hit her with any powers. The exception to this is hit scan powers, Reeve, and Dark Channel, because they don't have a time of flight. There's a slight delay, 0.2 seconds, for her to put up her hand and activate the shield before the incoming power impacts. Because there's no time of flight and they instantly impact, it'll hit her immediately before the shield is actually activated. This effect kind of looks like a big biotic field, very similar to when she's able to teleport around. However, it's more circular and has more little electrical effects versus like the standard just charged mode, whatever it is. In this mode, the Banshee can throw warp balls and use Nova Blast to things that are around her that are within 5 meters. Now, this is misleading because the Nova Blast radius is actually 9 meters versus the 5 meters to trigger it, so you have a 4-meter discrepancy that you have to account for when you need to escape it. Now, the Banshee ignores pets such as drones and decoys and all that kind of stuff. However, when she's checking around her to see if there's any enemies that she can Nova, those are taken into account. So if you see a Banshee at a distance that is not in charged mode, if you spam like a drone behind it, you can force it to use Nova, which will cause it to have almost like a 5-second delay, so you can just gun it down in that mode. You can also use powers in this mode because she won't be able to block it while that animation is active. But the most important thing is that she cannot melee or sync kill you at all while she's not in the charged mode. And this is great for melee kits like the Krogan Warlord, until she enters charged mode, which is when she screams. And she'll have this electricity effect around her while she's in charged mode. In this mode, she can't use any of the previous things that I mentioned. No warp, no Nova, no blocking powers. But she can melee and sync kill you. And the special thing about this is that the sync kill does not require a preceding melee like the Phantom or something does. So she can teleport behind you and instantly pick you up. This won't always be the case because the sync kill chance isn't 100% on any difficulty by default. But it's really misleading if you always thought they had to melee you first. This mode ends after 40 seconds or a certain amount of jumps or damage, and these change based on difficulties. So, for example, you can force the Banshee to return to normal mode by breaching it, which is doing a certain amount of damage in a certain amount of time, which changes based on how many players are in the game at the current moment. So, for example, on Gold, if you were soloing it, you have to do 3,500 damage in 2 seconds or less to force the Banshee out of charged mode and to return to normal mode. But if you have 2 or more players, you have to do 7,000 damage in 2 seconds or less, and this will stop the Banshee from any action it's currently doing. So say it's about to sync kill someone. If you do 7,000 damage in 2 seconds or less, you will force them to drop the Banshee, or they will force you to drop the person they've picked up. Now, it also happens that when charge mode just ends, it will automatically end any action that it's in. So, for example, say 40 seconds is about to come, and no one's around to save you. She sometimes just drops you. You may have noticed this. It seems kind of weird. But she will drop you when she exits charged mode. Now, there's a little bit of confusion here, because when charge mode ends, that graphical effect lingers for about 1 to 2 seconds. And you can kind of tell when she's exited charge mode, because she'll use Nova or she will throw a warp ball, and that's when you know it's safe to go into melee her. There's actually a lot more intricate details that you can get into if you mod it on ModMaker, but in the vanilla game this covers just about all the bases that you need. If you want to check out any of these or mod them to make them a little bit different, check it out on ModMaker at me3tweaks.com/modmaker. Have a good one.